From the NMSU Department of Journalism and Media Studies in collaboration with KRWG, this is the student-produced News22, where news matters.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Carpio Grego.
And I'm Samantha Dates. The strong winds just keep on blowing. Las Cruces and southern New Mexico are under a high wind warning and blowing dust advisory until 9 o'clock this evening. That means winds of 35 to 45 miles per hour and gusts up to 65 miles per hour.
And this tree just fell outside Milton Hall here on the NMSU campus that was blown down at about 4:15 this afternoon. The winds can also blow down more trees and power lines. Widespread power outages are possible and travel could be difficult with visibility between 1/4 and 1 mile in blowing dust. It includes portions of south central and southwest New Mexico and southwest Texas. Especially for high-profile vehicles, hazardous driving conditions are due to reduced visibility.
Well, things are looking pretty ugly outside right now, but Mikey can tell us a little bit more about what's going on.
Thanks, Mikey, and thanks, Carpio. Yes, thanks, Sam, and thanks, Carpio. It's definitely so windy outside. Allergies are at an all-time high right now. As you can see, this is just right outside of our NMSU campus camera, right outside of Milton Hall. The winds are still blowing, and it is ugly out there. But things are going to calm down around 9 p.m., as Sam said, and also for the rest of the week, it is going to be a little bit calmer. Let's take a look at some current conditions right now. It is dusty outside and the temperature is at 66 degrees. Also, southwest winds at 47 miles per hour. The humidity is at 19% and the dew point is at 19 degrees. Our barometer is at 29.6 inches. And for our high tomorrow, it will be at 71 degrees. And right now, it is, later on tonight, it is going to be at 38 degrees for an average of 55. Like I said, our high tomorrow is going to be our record high will be at 86 degrees from 2017, and in 1960, our record low was 24 degrees. Right now, precipitation is at 0.05 for the year to date, and our wettest month has been January, so it's been a while since we've had some rain. Back to the desk for some more news.
Thank you, Mikey. The man who was shot by Las Cruces police on Thursday is reportedly in stable condition.
Yes, the shooting occurred on the 500 block of South Main Street after police were called to a report of a man armed with a gun. Now, the suspect has been identified as 19-year-old Gabriel Padilla. Padilla is facing multiple charges, including aggravated assault on a police officer. The city of Las Cruces will hold a news conference at 11 a.m. Thursday to provide more information. A man is under arrest accused of assaulting several Customs and Border Patrol officers in Santa Teresa.
28-year-old Andrew Josiah Segura was arrested on March 7th after encounters with CBP officers at a post office on McNutt Road on February 19th and a Love's truck stop on Airport Road on February 11th. He reportedly called the agents traitors and pushed one of the agents at the post office. He is being held at the Doña Ana County Jail without bond. He faces 8 years in prison if convicted of assault, opposition, and intimidation of a federal officer. As reported in the Las Cruces Bulletin, a group of Las Cruces residents is going door to door to stop the city's new planning and zoning ordinance from going into effect. They call themselves the Coalition of Conservatives in Action. They're opposed to a plan for more multifamily housing and some commercial development into mixed residential areas. They want to get enough signatures to send the zoning reform to voters in November. They have until March 20th to gather enough signatures. The new zoning ordinance and planning is called Realize Las Cruces.
And it's the first change in city zoning code since 2001. News22's Mark Baugh has more on what makes these changes simple, yet confusing at the same time.
Second one was culture and...
Christopher Brown is a professor at New Mexico State University. He teaches courses on how to plan sustainable developments. He's also been a key part of the recent changes to Las Cruces zoning, known as Realize Las Cruces.
The property values have not gone down.
Essentially, the goal of Realize is to create multi-use zoning. These are developments which are walkable, allow for different types of housing, such as apartments or townhomes, and it also allows businesses to be located near homes, such as the cafe behind me.
The idea is that businesses would be close enough to neighborhoods so residents could walk to them.
I think having that kind of small-scale commercial activity walkable to neighborhoods actually makes them more desirable.
Councilmember Cassie McClure believes Realize would allow for more options when shopping for a new home.
Maybe it's not a single family house that I needed at the time. Maybe it was a duplex. Maybe it was a townhome.
Going into a residential neighborhood. What are you talking about?
The city wants these changes to be seen primarily in new developments, but it also wants to see them in areas like Solano Drive. An older area of town, the city wants to revitalize.
More pedestrian friendly, so the effects of Realize could be, really beneficial.
Meanwhile, Councilmember Bill Matisse was the only member to vote no on Realize Las Cruces. He's skeptical it can achieve what it is promising.
We love the open space. We don't need density. We don't need more concrete piled in with more concrete. I thought we wanted walkability and breathability and carino.
And many residents are concerned.
People don't know that that's happening, and I think that there's some big concerns there over what's going to happen with those existing neighborhoods.
Some sort of apartment complex.
Sarah Smith, one of those concerned residents, has started a petition which is aiming to pause the introduction of Realize and have residents vote on whether they are for or against the plan.
And I think that's really what should have happened with this in the first place, because this is a citywide thing that's going to change zoning all across the city, and the people need to be able to weigh in on that and whether we want it or not.
People live in mixed-use areas already, so...
For Professor Brown, he says he understands public concerns and actually encourages people to give feedback to help improve the plan going forward.
Just invite people to get engaged with the process and participate.
Mark Baugh, News 22.
And while the zoning issue is underway, the City Council yesterday approved a plan to redevelop 4 rundown areas of the city.
They are the Amador, Proximo, and South area, the Apodaca and Lift Up area, the east of Solano neighborhood area, and the Mesquite district. The approval is the first step in providing the city with the tools needed to facilitate the redevelopment of the areas. The next step is to develop and implement the plans. Stay tuned. Mikey will be back with your national weather forecast.
But first, there's a local artist inspiring the community with her murals. More on that when News 22 continues.
Tokyo is a true gourmet wonderland. Markets are replete with the freshest produce, seafood, and ingredients, all sourced for the most discerning chef and palate. Discover the stories behind the culinary specialties that make this city so delicious. Watch Trails to Oishi Tokyo on NHK World Japan.
Thursday at 2 p.m. on KRWG-Public Media.
I'm Sherry Castle. Welcome to a whole new season of The Key Ingredient. You're gonna love this. It is one of my favorite sweet potato recipes I have ever made. So good. I've got a brand new list of my favorite ingredients. I've got culinary buddies coming over to show me how they prepare those ingredients. And then I brought it all back to my kitchen where I'm gonna make my favorite recipes. Join me.
Friday at 2 on KRWG Public Media.
Welcome back. You're watching News 22 Tuesday,
where news matters. New Mexico authorities have released an updated timeline of actor Gene Hackman and his wife's final days.
In February, Hackman and his wife Betsy Arakawa were found dead in their home in Santa Fe. The sheriff's office says Hackman's wife used her cell phone to call a medical center on February 12th. Medical investigators said she died at about that time of hantavirus that infects humans through contact with infected rodents. They say Gene Hackman suffered from Alzheimer's disease and likely died February 18th of heart disease.
If you've been to O'Donnell Hall recently here on NMSU campus, you'll see a mural representative of Southwestern culture. And at a bus shelter on Valley Drive in Hadley, there's beautiful portraits of a little girl.
Both of these were created by an NMSU art student. News 22's Anaí Tellez introduces us to Citlali Delgado.
Inverted version of the other one.
With a stroke of a brush and a heart full of love, Citlali Delgado shows how it is never too late to discover a new skill.
I was not a kid to doodle all the time or just be painting and stuff. I really didn't start until COVID. Because COVID really gave me the time to create art.
Art can come in different forms and mean many things. For Citlali, she uses it to represent her Chicano culture.
I think my journey began with my father. So he's an artist himself. We're from El Paso, Texas, and so growing up seeing his work come to life and being around exhibitions and protests and galleries and museums, I think that informs my work, and I feel like that didn't hit until now.
She shows how Chicanos have many jobs since the foundation of this country, which include picking the fruits that we enjoy and the music we love to hear. She also represents the El Paso history with the alligators that once were in the San Jacinto Plaza. Throughout her journey, she has not only had the support from loved ones, but also mentors who have been with her since day one.
I would say it's a real blessing to see a student that you enjoy and admire and see a lot of potential in, and to see her blossom.
With less representation of Chicano culture in the professional world of art, her mentor believes her unique pieces are timely and show the real history of the borderlands.
How to be a teacher and how to connect with students, how to frame projects so that they're relevant for artists working and trying to get out into the professional world right now.
In the end, Citlali hopes that viewers can be inspired by their heritage and know where they came from. Anaí Telles, News 22.
Well, I hope the rest of the country doesn't have it as bad as us, because it's been a pretty bad start this spring. It feels like Arrakis out there. Mikey, what can you tell us about the national weather?
Thanks, Carpio. Thanks, Sam. Let's take it to Amarillo, Texas, where the wind gusts were strong and made the cows run home. Basically how I felt walking from the parking lot to the newsroom this afternoon. Let's go ahead and take a look at those national maps. As you can see, the temperatures are all over the place. 39 degrees all the way up in Maine, and our coldest spot all the way in North Dakota at 32 degrees. A little closer to home up in Albuquerque, we are at 66, and over in LA, it's 59 degrees. Well, let's take it to the next map, up to the Pacific Northwest, 51 degrees up in Seattle and 52 degrees in Medford, Oregon. And let's not forget our neighbors up in Alaska and in Hawaii. It's up to -8 up in Barrow, and all the way up in Prudhoe Bay, it's -12. And Juneau and Anchorage are enjoying a warmer climate all the way at 38 degrees. Also, let's take it on over to Honolulu, Hawaii, where it's a little bit warmer, all the way in the 70s. And yeah, all the way in the 70s. And I'll be back with your local forecast after the break.
If your watercolor came to an auction, it would probably sell for between $1,000 and $1,500.
Whoa.
Yeah, not bad for $2.
Now that's money well spent. Your investment in this PBS station brings Antiques Roadshow into your home each week. Call, text, or go online to give now.
I think I'm gonna be rich.
Across the waves of grain and the fruited plains, the food traditions that shaped this nation.
This really is a labor of love.
Are being preserved.
Such an important story in one bowl.
And rediscovered. On America the Bountiful.
Monday at 2 p.m. on KRWG Public Media.
Good evening once again, everyone. Let's take a look at some numbers around the state. At Roswell, we are at 68 degrees, and here in Las Cruces, we are at 60. A little bit cooler. And up in Albuquerque, it is 44 degrees. In Santa Fe, it is 43, and in Socorro, it is 53. That's all I have for our local forecast. Back to the desk.
And Emilia Albornoz is next with sports.
Thanks, Carpio for coming up in sports. The Artesia boys basketball team won the state championship this past weekend. You can toss that remote because News22 Sports is next.
This season on Sarah's Weeknight Meals. Oh, we have a lot of adventures coming. I don't think I've ever had anything like this. That is gorgeous. Join me on Sarah's Weeknight Meals.
Monday at 2:30 on KRWG Public Media.
PBS opens up new worlds, new perspectives for all of us, today and tomorrow.
With stories and performances that bring us together.
We can all share in the inspiration, the wonder, and the world that PBS brings into our homes.
Support your PBS station today.
Join KRWG Public Media at Tranquil Buzz, located at 300 North Arizona Street in Silver City, for a coffee visit and chat on Thursday, April 10th from 9 to 11 a.m. Casey Counts and other staff will be there to share in a conversation about your passion for public media in our community. Join us and have a cup of coffee on us.
This is KRWG-TV News22 Sports.
For the win! He got it!
Welcome back. I'm Emilia Albornoz, and let's talk sports. The state championship tournaments were this weekend, and a few teams cemented their first place among the all-time great teams. In the 5A girls state championship, the last two state championship teams met again. Sandia and Hobbs were set to have a great game, but Sandia dominated most of the game. The Benali sisters carried the Matadors on their backs, with Kaya putting up 19 and 3 steals, and her big sister Sydney put up 12 in her last game before going to BYU. This caps off a dominant 30-1 campaign for the Matadors. In the 5A boys title game, Sandia wasn't so lucky and lost heartbreaker to Volcano Vista, who accomplished the impossible by winning the 4th title in a row. Sandia's three-point shooting was able to keep them in the game and give them the lead through the first 3 quarters, but the Volcano sides helped them get back in the game. David Land bullied the Matadors in the paint for 19 points, which was enough to force overtime. The Matadors' great shooting that got them to overtime disappeared, and they only made 1 bucket in OT. This is the first time a team has won in 4 in a row since Hobbs in the late 90s. Between large margin losses for the Hobbs and Mayfield's girls, as well as early exits for Las Cruces and Northern Mountain, it was not a great weekend for Southern New Mexico. But one team took it home with the 4A Artesia Bulldogs. The Bulldogs managed the knockoff by defending the champion Highland Hornets 55-48. Artesia controlled the entire game with their great size and elite defense to stifle the Hornets at every turn, in all around their team effort. This is Artesia.
Selfish, and that's tough today, JP. Everybody's talking about club ball and individual ball and team spirit. These guys don't care. They care about each other. Coming to work, going to work every single day.
In program history. And that's all for tonight in sports. Join us more sports action tomorrow. Still ahead on News22, Mikey will be back with your take a look in your 5-day forecast.
Welcome to Milk Street's My Family Recipe. We bring home cooks to our Boston studio where, along with our host and pastry chef Cheryl Day, we help home cooks rediscover lost family recipes.
You're gonna be able to bake this cake.
I can do it. Then we send them home to recreate that recipe for the toughest audience, their own family.
Mom, that's really good.
Right here on Milk Street's My Family Recipe.
Friday at 2:30 on KRWG Public Media.
Welcome to Trails of Enchantment, where we travel and discover the diverse cultures and nature of the Borderland region, where we share the stories of the places, the art, and the people that make this beautiful land what it is.
Because we are sitting on a preserve, a natural preserve. Nature is very important for us. We are all about preserving the land, preserving the environment.
Let's hit the trail. Trails of Enchantment.
Let's take a look at our top stories.
Suspect Gabriel Padilla was shot by an officer after an alleged case of aggravated assault on March 13th. The city of Las Cruces will hold a news conference on Thursday to tell us more. A new zoning bill that would allow for multi-use zoning has passed in the city council. While some think that this will make neighborhoods more desirable, others disagree. And Citlali Delgado is a local artist hoping to inspire the community with her murals. Those murals can be found at O'Donnell Hall on NMSU campus and at a bus shelter on Hadley Drive.
Now let's take a look at our 5-day forecast. From today all the way to Sunday, it's going to be in the 60s through the 80s for our highs, and for our lows, it's going to be 30s through the 40s. It's going to be clear and sunny all 5 days, and that's all I have.
Thanks, Mikey. At least we don't have to worry about dirt getting in my eyes all
Exactly.
week. And that's all for News 22 Tuesday. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight.
Tune in tomorrow for more news, but don't go anywhere yet because Carmina Conde is next with Noticias 22 right after this. I'm Samantha Dates.
I'm Carpio Grego, and from the whole News 22 team, Sam, Mikey, Amelia, and myself, good night.
This news brief en español is brought to you by Noticias 22, la información más completa de Nuevo México, El Paso y la frontera. Noticias 22.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Carmina Conde y estas son las breves de hoy con Noticias 22. Les pedimos tener cuidado ya que el Servicio Nacional de Clima mandó múltiples alertas respecto a las tormentas de tierra durante el día de hoy. Los vientos han alcanzado una velocidad de 60 millas por hora y causaron varios accidentes, incluyendo la caída de un árbol cerca de un edificio de Milton Han en la Universidad Estatal de Nuevo México, cerca del noticiero de News22, donde se sintieron fuertes golpes cuando cayó el árbol. También el Departamento de Carreteras de Nuevo México reportó que numerosas carreteras en el sur del estado fueron cerradas. Entre ellas se encuentran la I-10 de las Cruces a la línea estatal de Arizona, la carretera 180 de Deming a Bayard, la carretera 26 a Deming a Hatch y advertencias para la mayoría del sur de Nuevo México. Si se encuentran manejando y la visibilidad baja a cero, salgan de la carretera, apaguen las luces y quiten el pie del freno. Agentes federales arrestaron a un hombre acusado de asaltar a un agente en una patrulla fronteriza tras una confrontación en la oficina postal de Santa Teresa. Una investigación comenzó cuando Andri Segura, de 28 años, tuvo un encuentro donde les dijo traidores a empleados de patrulla fronteriza. Un oficial respondió golpeando a Andrew, lo cual se convirtió en una pelea por parte de los dos. Testigos mencionan ver a Segura salir de la oficina y caminar hacia su carro, donde después volvió a caminar hacia la oficina escondiendo algo en su sudadera, lo cual testigos mencionan que pudo ser un arma. Después de escuchar sirenas de policía, Segura subió a su carro y huyó. Segura fue arrestado ayer con un cargo federal de asalto, oposición e intimidación después de una investigación por parte de Seguridad Nacional. Si es encontrado culpable, podría enfrentar hasta 8 años de prisión. Y eso ha sido todo por mi parte. Recuerden seguirnos en nuestras redes sociales. Bonita noche.